Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Ananya Banerjee from Swami Vivekananda Institute of Modern Science. Today, my topic of discussion is lysogenic cycle of lambda fudge. Bacteriophage lambda is a temperate fudge which is capable to undergo both lytic and lysogenic cycle. I have already discussed about lytic cycle in my previous video. Now today I will talk about lysogenic cycle. Lysogeny is characterized by integration of the bacteriophage nucleic acid into the host bacterium's genome or formation of a circular replicon in the bacterial cytoplasm. In this particular condition, the bacterium continues to live and reproduce normally along with the host. The genetic material of bacteriophage, called a prophage, that can be transmitted to daughter cells at each subsequent cell division and at later events such as UV radiation or presence of certain chemicals, they can be released from the cell, causing proliferation of new phages via the lytic cycle. In lysogenic state, very few lambda genes are expressed, and essentially the only evidence that the cell harbors a prophage is that the lysogenic cells are immune to superinfection by more lambda phages. Now let us see how establishment and maintenance of lysogenic life cycle occurs in case of lambda phage. Phage lambda is the classical example of a phage that can form lysogens. Thus, lambda phage is able to diverge from the pattern of gene expression related to the lytic cycle. Phage lambda is capable of inserting its DNA into the chromosome of the host cell and to maintain the state of lysogeny. In the lysogenic state, very few lambda genes they are expressed, and essentially the only evidence that the cell harbors a prophage is that the lysogenic cell are more immune to superinfection by more phage lambda expression. Now subsequently, the phage DNA can be excised from the chromosome and lytic replication be initiated to produce some infectious progeny. The various components like C1, C2, C3 genes of the lysogenic pathway, they are controlled by a fine tuning or balance between several inhibitors of gene expression. Then the C1 repressor is the major protein which is required to maintain the lysogenic state. Therefore, its synthesis must be regulated even after a lysogen has formed. Now let us discuss about the establishment of lysogeny in lambda phage. The initial events in the process of lysogeny are identical to those seen in the lytic infection process. The circularized phage DNA is transcribed from the two major promoters, that is the promoter PL and PR, and also from another promoter, that is PR dash. As transcription from PR dash makes only a small mRNA that does not encode any protein, so it is not involved in the lysogeny process, and that is why it is not discussed here. Transcription from PL and PR makes the mRNA encoding the N and CRO protein with small amounts of the C2, O and P proteins. Subsequently, the anti-terminator action of the N protein results in the synthesis of C3, INT, cis and Q protein, and a large quantity of C2, O and P as it was mentioned in the lytic process of lambda phage. After the lambda phage infects a cell, the decision whether the phage will enter the lytic cycle and will make more phages or it will form a lysogen will depend on the outcome of a competition between the product of the C2 gene, which acts to form lysogen, and the products of the gene in the lytic cycle that replicate the DNA and make more phage particles. Most of the time, the lytic cycle wins and the lambda DNA replicates and more phage are produced. But however, about 1% of the time, depending on the environmental factors, say for example such as richness of the medium, the C2 gene product, it will win the race and the lysogen will be formed. Now there are several phases in the establishment of lysogeny of the lambda phage. In the first phase of gene expression regarding the lysogenic process, the C2 protein acts as a gene activator, which is also sometimes known as transcriptional activator. It directs the host RNA polymerase to begin the transcription at promoters which would otherwise be inactive. Now these promoters are PRE, that is the promoter for repressor establishment or repressor expression, and another is pInt, that is the promoter for integration. The mRNA initiated at the particular promoter for integration, that is pInt, direct the synthesis of int protein, that is the integrase protein, which is responsible for integrating the phage lambda DNA into the host chromosome. The use of this pInt promoter ensures expression of large quantities of int protein that can be generated from the polycistronic mRNA transcribed from the PL region. So as shown in the figure, we can see that the C2 protein activates the PRE and pInt promoters to produce the mRNA for the C1 repressor and the int proteins respectively. It should be noted that the mRNA from the PRE promoter, it contains the sequences which is antisense to the CRO gene. Now, in the second phase of gene expression regarding the lysogenic process, the promoter PRE directs transcription of a single gene C1. The C1 protein, which is the product of the particular gene C1, it is referred to as C1 lambda repressor. It is critical in lysogeny, and it has been seen that a particular phage with mutation in the C1 gene can only replicate lytically. This particular C1 protein binds to the operator OL and OR and thereby inhibits the transcription from the promoter PL and PR and prevent the production of the early proteins. Now, by inhibiting the synthesis of the early protein, the C1 protein prevents the subsequent appearance of the late structural proteins and consequently of the infectious particle. Now, to ensure that this particular C1 protein is present in a large amount within the particular phage, its own synthesis is not prevented by the absence of C2 protein. C1 protein directs the RNA polymerase to an additional promoter which is known as PRM, that is, which stands for promoter for repressor maintenance, which initiates the transcription of the C1 gene alone. Now, if we see the figure, we can see that the C1 protein, it binds to the OL and OR region and thereby it inactivates the promoter PL and PR, while it will activate another promoter, that is the PRM, which stands for promoter for repressor maintenance, and thereby it ensures its own synthesis, continued synthesis throughout the progeny. Now, the CRO protein also here will inhibit the particular transcription from the two promoter PL and PR during this particular process. In the third or final phase of lysogenic gene expression, the action of C2 protein in activating expression from the promoter PRE has an additional consequence. The mRNA transcribed from the promoter PRE contains some sequences that are antisense to those of the mRNA which is transcribed from the promoter PR, which encodes the CRO protein. Now, the hybridization of these two mRNA will prevent the translation of the CRO gene mRNA and therefore will reduce the level of CRO protein in the bacterium. So, the final result of the process is that the phage lambda DNA is integrated into the host chromosome, and the only gene that is active is the one encoding the C1 protein. Now the C1 protein, by inhibiting the transcription from the promoter PL and PR, will prevent the expression of any other Faj genes. And by activating the promoter PRM, the C1 protein ensures transcription of its own gene and therefore its own continued synthesis. Now, other than these particular C1 and C2 protein, another protein known as the C3 protein also plays an important role in the lysogenic process. The role of C3 protein in the lysogenic process is having indirect impact on the stability of C2 protein. C3 protein inhibits a cellular protease activity that mainly degrades the C2 protein. Therefore, in the absence of C3 protein, C2 protein will be rapidly degraded and low lysogeny will form. We should also know that the relative levels of Cro protein and C1 repressor mainly determines the lambda Faj life cycle. The establishment of lysogeny in lambda Faj is triggered by high concentration of a gene product, that is the C2 protein. The early gene product, or this particular early gene product, it stimulates the leftward transcription from the two promoters, that is mainly the promoter P-int and PRE. The C2 protein is activated when the Faj multiplicity is high or the nutritional condition are poor. This phenomenon accounts for the observation that lysogeny is induced when the multiplicity of infection, that is the ratio of infecting phages to bacteria, is large and which is usually greater than equal to 10. Now, since these genes, they results in high level of the particular protein, that is C2 protein synthesis. But this C2 protein is metabolically unstable with a half-life of around 1 minute. So C1 transcription from the PRE promoter soon will cease. Lambda repressor bound at OR but not the Cro protein, but however it will stimulate the leftward transcription of the C1 protein from the promoter PRM. So in other words, Cro protein represses all mRNA synthesis, whereas the lambda repressor stimulates its own gene while repressing all other mRNA synthesis. So this is how the lysogeny process occurs in case of the lambda Faj. Now the next part is the integration of bacteriophage lambda DNA during lysogeny. The integration of phage lambda DNA into the host chromosome is carried out by the INT protein. As I have already mentioned earlier that the C2 protein activates the P-int promoter upstream of the INT gene. The mRNA transcribed from this promoter is translated into the INT protein, and the action of the C2 ensures that it is present in a large quantity in the system. INT protein is an integrase protein that specifically promotes recombination between the attachment site, that is ATTP, which is the attachment site for the phage lambda, and the site on the bacterial DNA, that is called as ATTB, that lies between the galactose and the biotin operation system in the chromosome of E. coli. Now this is a non-essential region of E. coli chromosome, but some phages integrates into some essential genes of bacteria as well. For example, the phage system like Salmonella phage P22, it integrates into the chromosome through the threonine tRNA gene. Or the other example like E. coli phage P4, it integrates through leucine tRNA gene. Some example of the phage which integrates into the gene for their attachment site is close to the phage lambda, and the example is phage Phi21. As we can see in the figure is representing the attachment site of the bacteria and as well as lambda phage. As we can see, the attachment site of bacteria, which is represented at ATTB, it is located between the two gene GAL and BIO in case of the bacteria, that is E. coli, whereas the attachment site of the lambda phage, that is ATTP, it is located within the lambda phage. Now the site-specific recombination will occur and the INT protein will promote this particular recombination between the ATTP and ATTB site. The integrated DNA is referred to as a prophage, and the genetic mapping studies showed that there is only one site of integration adjacent to the galactose operon in the E. coli genome at a position referred to as the lambda attachment locus. In 1962, J. Campbell suggested that the crossing over between the circularized phage DNA and the host genome results in the insertion of the entire phage genome into the bacterium. Thus, the phage genome is inserted as a linear structure into the host genome by reciprocal recombination. The position of the recombination site in the phage DNA lies downstream of the INT gene, and the region is referred to as the ATTP site. The bacterial and the phage attachment sites, that is ATTB and ATTP, contain identical tracts of 15 base pair, indicating that the homologous recombination occurs during the integration event. The actual site of the crossover for both integration and excision must take place within or at the boundaries of this common base sequence regions. Now let us discuss about the induction and excision of the lambda lysogen. First we will discuss about the induction process. Phage lambda will remain in the prophage state until the host cell DNA is degraded, which is highly correlated to the early observation that ultraviolet irradiation of a lysogenic culture stimulates the phage to leave the lysogenic cycle and enter into the lytic mode of replication. This is termed as the induction of lysogen. Several other stimuli, such as treatment with potent mutagen, also induce the phage, and a common feature of these treatment is that they cause significant changes in the host E. coli system, and in particular expression from an array of genes which were previously inactive. This is referred to as the E. coli SOS response. And the role of the new gene product is to protect the bacterium against the effect of this stimulus. Just as lysogeny may allow the phage to wait for the host to provide an optimum environment for replication, induction may be seen as a means by which such a phage system can escape from a host when the survival is in threatening situation. A critical component in the SOS response is the RECA protein. The function of this protein is to mediate mainly recombination between the DNA molecule. However, when the bacterium is subjected to stress conditions, say for example such as UV irradiation or use of any chemically potent mutant, the RECA protein alters its activity to become a specific protease. The primary target of RECA protein is the LEX-A repressor as well as the C1 repressor. The molecular mechanisms of this particular RECA activity is like, as the cell attempts to repair the damage to its DNA, short pieces of single-stranded DNA accumulates and bind to the RECA protein of the host E. coli system. The RECA protein with the single-stranded DNA attached then binds to the lambda C1 repressor, causing it to cleave itself. Thus, DNA binding domain is separated from the domain of dimer formation. Therefore, the lambda C1 repressor, as it consists of two polypeptides containing specific DNA binding domain, so once one particular domain becomes inactivated, this particular lambda C1 repressor will lose its activity. Without the dimerization domain, the DNA binding domain can no longer bind tightly to the operator, and as a result the repressor drops off the operator. Transcription will initiate from the promoter PL and PR, and it will transcribe the N, CRO and the other structural protein. Therefore, this altered activity of the REC-A protein ensures that no functional C1 repressor protein can be made in the system or be available in the system. So only the lytic cycle mechanism can occur even if the C2 protein is active. So here in the figure we can see that UV treatment of cell damages the DNA and leaves traces of single-stranded DNA. This single-stranded DNA, it will activate the REC-A. The activated REC-A, it will interact with C1, leading to the cleavage of C1 protein and thereby induction of the lambda lysogen. Activated REC-A also interacts with the LEX-A and lead to LEX-A inactivation. This LEX-A inactivation will lead to the expression of a number of genes, including some DNA repair enzymes. During this particular process, transcription of INT, cis, O and P protein will occur, and the Faj DNA will be excised from the chromosome and it will replicate the single-stranded DNA into its double-stranded form. Once the repressor is out of the way, transcription from the promoter PL and PR can begin immediately. The genes that are transcribed from the promoter PL are INT and cis. Unlike after infection, when only INT is synthesized, after induction, both the integrase and the excises, that is both the INT and cis proteins, are synthesized. Excision requires both of these proteins because the recombination occurs between different sequences from those used for integration. Integration requires recombination between the ATTP sequence on the Faj and the ATTB sequence in the chromosome. However, excision requires recombination between the hybrid ATTP-ATTB sequence that exists at the junction between the pro-Faj DNA and the chromosomal DNA. These sequences are different from either ATTB or ATTP. Therefore, INT alone is not capable of excising the pro-Faj, and by making just INT after infection, the Faj ensures that a newly integrated pro-Faj will not be excised. The pro-Faj will be excised only after induction when both the INT and cis are made. While the INT and cis protein are excising the lambda DNA from the chromosome, the O and P gene are being transcribed from the promoter PR. These proteins will promote the replication of the excised lambda DNA. Therefore, a few minutes after the cellular DNA is damaged, the Faj DNA is replicating, repressor levels are dropping, and the Faj is irreversibly committed to lytic development. In about 1 hour, depending on the medium and the temperature, the cell will lyse, spilling about 100 Faj into the medium. During the integration process, the Faj require integrase protein and the host encoded IHF protein, which is for integration host factor. But during the excision process, the Faj will require the integrase protein as well as the IHF protein, and along with that the cis protein, which will be required for the excision process. Finally, let us discuss about the choice determining whether Faj will enter the lytic or lysogenic cycle. Some cells infected by lambda Faj follow the lytic pathway, while others become lysogen. Although the lytic process occurs much more frequently, it is clear that some circumstances must favor lysogeny. Several aspects are involved in determining the choice between lysis and lysogeny. However, a key factor is the balance between the various repressors and the activators produced in the system, and among these the role of the C2 protein is very critical. The phage will enter the lytic and lysogenic cycle according to the rest between the C2 activator protein and the CRO protein, which may be determined by chance or by the host cell metabolic status. If the C2 protein is very active, C1 protein will be produced in large amounts from the PRE promoter and the integrase from the pInt promoter. The C1 repressor will bind to the operators OL and OR and replace the synthesis of more CRO protein as well as both O and P, and thereby the DNA will be integrated and the lysogen will be formed. On the other hand, if the C2 protein is poorly expressed or has low activity in the medium, very low levels of C1 protein will be present. Thus, CRO protein gets the favorable condition which prevents the synthesis of more C1 repressor. Then, without more C1 repressor, some transcription will occur from the O and P genes and the replication of lambda begins without sufficient C2 protein. PRE will not be strongly activated and the synthesis of C1 protein will in turn be further reduced. Eventually, there will be too much DNA for the repressor to bind to all of it due to the very low level of C1 repressor. Thereby, transcription of O and P gene will increase further, resulting more and more DNA replication. The Q protein, which is also an anti-terminator, will be synthesized next, allowing transcription of the head, tail and lysis genes. Phage will then be assembled, cell will lyse and newly synthesized phage will spill out from the host system, that is the lytic pathway will follow. The activity of the C2 protein is determined by the environmental factor. The C2 protein is susceptible to proteolytic degradation by host enzymes. The level of host proteases are affected by many factors, especially growth conditions. Healthy bacteria grow on rich medium, contain high level of proteases, and when infected cells are more common or more likely to support the replication cycle of the phage genome. Whereas in contrast, poorly growing bacteria have lower level of protease and so will encourage the establishment of lysogeny. Thus, it is obvious that the phage gets the advantage of a lytic infection in a healthy bacterial culture system which contains high level of ATP and are equipped to synthesize the vital protein. When bacteria are nutritionally deficient, it is to the advantage of the phage to establish itself as lysogeny and wait until the situation and condition improves. The C3 protein also plays a role in the choice between lysogeny and lytic's life cycle. The function of C3 protein is to protect the C2 from proteolytic degradation. This protection is not complete because C2 can be destroyed even in the presence of C3, however, is absent or non-functional properly, the C2 protein almost all are degraded, and under this situation the phage can only undergo the lytic life cycle which have been found in vitro experiments. The picture here shows the competition determining whether phage will enter the lytic or lysogenic cycle. The gene expressions occurs early infection. The abundance of the active C2 protein will determine whether the phage will enter the lytic or lysogenic cycle. The synthesis of CRO protein will promote lytic development by repressing the synthesis of C1 repressor. Once the O and P are synthesized, the replication of the lambda DNA will dilute out the C1 repressor, and thereby In some other process during the lysogeny, the synthesis of C2 will occur and that will promote the lysogenic process. Let us discuss about immunity to superinfection in case of lambda phage. And usual characteristics of the lysogenic phages are that they show immunity to superinfection process by a second phage system of the same type that it carries. But it is not usually immune to other independently isolated temperate phages. Phages that induce immunity to one another are termed as homoimmune, and if they do not, then they are known as heteroimmune. Analysis of the genetic factors involved in the specificity of immunity showed that C1 repressor is the responsible factor. Lysogens continuously express the C1 genes and contain significant level of functional C1 repressor until induced. The C1 repressor act by binding to the specific OL and OR binding sequence adjacent to the promoter PL and PR, preventing the host DNA dependent RNA polymerase to initiate transcription from either of these promoter class. When the DNA of superinfecting homoimmune phage enters the lysogenic bacteria, the C1 repressor binds to the OL and OR sequence and prevents the phage infection and thereby aborting the infection process. If the superinfecting DNA is from heteroimmune phage, the C1 repressor of the lysogen cannot bind the incoming DNA as the operator sequence are different, and the second phage is therefore able to initiate the infection process. Lastly, let us discuss about the benefits of lysogeny. The fact that the temperate phages carry so many genes involved in lysogeny indicates that lysogeny has some advantages for them. A significant advantage would be to provide a method for a phage that has infected a host low in energy and low synthetic capacity to persist in the bacterium until conditions improve. The phage can then reappear when conditions have improved. It is important that in the persistent lysogenic state, the phage does not represent a significant disadvantage for the survival of the host. In fact, lysogeny often carries a strong selective value for the bacterium because temperate phages frequently confer new characteristics on the host. This phenomenon manifests itself in many ways and is referred to as lysogenic conversion. For lambda, the only known lysogenic conversion is the capacity of lambda lysogens to block the multiplication of a particular class of mutants of bacteriophage T4. This block involves the product of the REX gene and perhaps also the C1 repressor. As the bacteriophage T4 mutants, which are known as R2 mutants, may not be very common in the natural environment of lambda, the REX gene probably has other more significant roles to play in the phage lambda replication cycle. Other than that, in a surprising number of instances, prophages carry genes for virulence factors or toxins required by the pathogenic bacteria they lysogenize. For example, the bacteria that cause diphtheria or botulism or tetanus or cholera, all of them require lysogenic phages for virulence. Even lambda phage carries gene that confers on its E. coli host the property of serum resistance and the ability to survive in the macrophages. Thus, by this way, temperate phages frequently confer new characteristic on the host and is referred to as lysogenic conversion. Pathogenic strains of E. coli are prime examples of bacteria that are not pathogenic unless they harbor prophages. The E. coli strain O157, which has caused many outbreaks of bacterial dysentery worldwide, is one of the examples of lysogenic E. coli. Another example of lysogenic conversion is that observed in Corynebacterium diphtheri. Strains of this bacteria that cause the serious childhood disease diphtheria carry the diphtheria toxin and are called toxigenic strains. Infection of these Corynebacterium species with phage beta isolated from virulent toxigenic bacilli of the same species produces lysogen that acquire the ability to synthesize the toxin molecule. Loss of the prophage result in the loss of toxin production because the structural genes for the toxin synthesis is carried by the phage itself. The tox gene responsible for diphtheria toxin production mainly blocks the elongation factor of the eukaryotes, that is EF2, by ADP ribosylation process. Thank you. If you like my video, do like and subscribe.